Hey everyone, today I have an interview with a PA. Her name is Hope Cook, and she's been a physician assistant for the last 17 years. She's worked in internal medicine, cosmetics, and dermatology, and for the last 11 years has been her primary focus in dermatology.
Yeah.
She's been married to her husband for 17 years, and her husband Chase works at the University of Georgia in forestry, and she has two children, one son who's 12 years old and a daughter who's 8 years old. Thanks so much for letting me interview you today. I really appreciate it, Hope.
Thank you.
So we just have a few questions. So first, what made you want to be a physician assistant?
I first thought about becoming a PA when I was like 17 years old, which I know is crazy early. Back then, we had two PAs in our hometown, and I'd heard about them. My best friend said she wanted to be a PA. And she said, it's sort of like being in between a doctor and a nurse. You can see patients, you can treat them, but you don't have to go to school for quite as long as you would medical school. So I said, that's what I want to be. And the funny thing is, I got into school before she did.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, but she ended up becoming a PA also. So we're still buddies.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so
Yeah.
neat. And what specialty is she in?
She works in interventional radiology at
Oh,
Emory.
wow. I didn't even know PAs could work in IR. That's great.
Yeah.
And she likes it?
Yeah, she does.
So the next question I had was, what do you most enjoy about your career as a PA?
I think the patients. I love getting to know my patients. I love dermatology because you can treat them in a way that you can cure your patients. Whereas when I was in internal medicine, I was dealing with a lot of chronic problems like high blood pressure, diabetes, and patients would come back, but they weren't really a whole lot better. So with working in dermatology, I can treat acne and make them 10 times better. I can cut off a bothersome wart or mole, or it's just very satisfying.
Oh,
So you
great.
really do develop relationships with your patients. I'll see them from the time they're itty bitty and their mom brings them in for a rash or warts. And then I follow them through their teenage years with acne. And then some of them I get to see as adults, and then they bring their kids in.
Oh, wow. And so you've been with this same practice for the last 11 years?
No, I started out with a different office and I was with her for 8 years. And then this office is in the same town. So I get to see some of my patients transferred over. And
Oh, that's so neat.
yeah.
It's all about the continuity of care. I love seeing patients
Yeah.
as they grow older. And then since I'm in pediatrics, I only get to see them up until they're 18 or 19.
Yeah.
But then my husband sees them because he's an adult ENT. So it's
That's
funny.
perfect.
Yeah, I could just send them over to him.
Yeah.
And then, so what does your day typically look like? If you could take us through the different types
Yeah.
of procedures that you do and the outpatient
So
care.
when I get there, it's usually, I think my first patient is at 8 o'clock. And my medical assistants are awesome. A lot of times we hire pre-PA students as our medical assistants. So they're super eager and motivated. So they have the first patient in the room. I get a brief summary of what they're here for, and then I go in the room. I see a lot of older patients too who are just, routine skin checks because they've had a history of skin cancer. So I look them over from head to toe. If they have any problems like a suspicious lesion or a precancerous lesion, I'll take care of that. I'll either freeze it or biopsy it. And then I see a lot of teenagers with acne, kids, and I just go from one room to the next. I have two medical assistants. So when I finish with one room, come out, go in the next room. And I just do that all day.
And when you said something about dictating, like is the medical assistant typing up the notes?
Good question. So we have electronic medical records, and the medical assistant is always in the room with me. So she is typing and clicking on pictures of the little image of the body, so she's documenting everything. So I still read over my notes and I still, make changes, especially if it's a rash. I free type exactly what happened and how they got the rash. But my notes are, for the most part, they go quickly. So I'll read over them, sign off on them. I try to go home in the evenings without a ton of notes to do at home.
Nice. And
Yeah.
you said you have upwards of 40 patients or 45 patients a day?
Yes. So we
Wow.
see anywhere from like 38 patients to 45. So it's
Wow.
definitely busy. I usually have my last patient though around like 3:30 or 3:45, so I can be out of there by 4.
How nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It takes me back to when I was in PA school and just learning how to type in EMR.
Yeah.
And for your pre-PA MAs, like being your scribes, like they don't even need to go to PA school. You know what I mean? Like
It's such
the,
good
the
experience for
whole part
them.
of PA school is learning how to chart. And I feel like
Yeah.
when I'm in clinic, the majority of the time is charting. And I take home
Yeah.
a lot of work. And it's like, if you have a scribe and your MAs are, already getting paid pretty well, I
Yeah.
understand. But
Hmm.
it's so worth it because it saves so much time and you get that one-on-one interaction with the patient when you're not just sitting in front of the computer typing and like not looking at them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I try not to do that, but yeah.
And if I work with the same medical assistants every day, which I try to do, they really learn my way of doing things, and they can anticipate. They'll have the liquid nitrogen ready to hand to me before I even
Oh,
need it.
wow.
If there's a handout, they ready with the handout. So
So you're using liquid nitrogen for like moles, or what do you typically
no,
use?
we do that for precancerous lesions,
Oh, okay.
or for warts, for things like that.
Wow. Did I say moles? I meant warts. Yeah.
It's okay.
I haven't done derm since I rounded. So the other question I had was, what type of work experience did you have prior to PA school? And that's mainly for people that are applying to PA school. I think it's something around 1,100 hours. I haven't been to PA school for 10
Yeah.
years, but applying, I think they need those clinical hours. What would you recommend for them, or what did you do?
I did not have enough hours for sure. But I also encourage them to go ahead and apply, even if they don't have enough hours, because they may have other factors that weigh in their favor. I had a high GPA. I was willing to go back and work in a rural area. So I've heard that presents favorably to the interview committee.
Mhm.
So apply anyway. I did have hours from working at a surgeon's office, in between classes, but it really wasn't a whole lot of hours. And I was mostly in the front office. But I did volunteer at the hospital and do all the things that you should do.
Oh, good. And do you know, like, looking at your class of maybe 50 to 60 students
Uh-huh.
at your PA school, what were they like? A lot of people from my PA school used to be RNs, nurses, or
Yeah.
like EMTs. We had one
Hmm.
veterinarian in our class. When international medical graduates, like, what was the typical background of your class?
So for Emory, I was definitely the youngest. There was another girl my age. So we went straight from undergraduate to Emory. So that's not
Oh,
that
wow,
common.
really? Oh, wow.
Hmm. But every year they try to get a very diverse class. So they don't want everybody to be in their 30s and have 10 years of work experience. They want some people who have less experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say there were EMTs. We had a firefighter. We had one lady who was in her 60s, and she used to be the vice president of Blue Cross Blue Shield for Georgia. So, it was a wide
Wow.
variety. I don't think we had any nurses. We had physical therapists.
Oh, so
So
it
just,
was just a PA program. It wasn't like a nurse practitioner PA program.
no, just PA.
Okay. And did you get your master's at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So,
back then, Emory was the only school in Georgia that offered a master's. They were still doing bachelor's degrees at the other places. So that was another reason I wanted to go to Emory.
oh, okay. That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
then, I know we've only been talking about PA stuff, but in general, when you're not working and seeing 45 patients a day, what do you like to do for fun?
I teach yoga, so I do that on my day off.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I write. I have a blog, hopethepa.com. I love to um, talk to other people about their careers. I'm passionate about PA burnout.
And is that what your blog is about?
It's about all different things. It's about finding your inner passion. It's about questioning your why. It's about family and struggles with kids and marriage, and it just gives you kind of an honest look into a PA's life.
Oh, that's so nice. I'll subscribe today. I'm sorry, I haven't subscribed yet, but I'll put a link at the end of the show notes so people can connect with you that
Okay.
way. A couple more questions. So if you could pick one person, I know this is a hard question, but who do you admire?
Oprah.
Oh, I love
I've
Oprah.
been watching Oprah since I was like 16, come home from school, 4 o'clock, turn it on, and I still listen to her podcast.
Me too. I love her. She's so inspirational. I follow her on Instagram, and anytime I see a post, I just have to do a screenshot because I
Yeah.
just feel like she's had such a crazy experience, and
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, that's so great. If you weren't a PA, what would you be?
Oh, I think I would be a life coach. I love talking to people and, digging deep into why they're doing what they're doing and then giving them that, helping give them clarity and helping them discern their next right step. So,
Oh, wow.
and that
I
probably comes from Oprah too.
I know, right? Yeah, maybe you should start a talk show. You could be a
Yeah.
talk show host. And then if you were to write a memoir, what would be the title?
Oh, well, my name is Hope, so I think I would call it Finding Hope because,
Oh, wow.
I like to give other people hope, but I also have done a lot of internal work and sort of discovering who I am past the externals of wife, mom, PA, who I am down to my core.
That's so perfect. You better start writing. I'm going to buy the book as soon as it's published. Um, and then two more questions. I promise I'm almost done. Where do you think the PA profession will be in 10 years?
I think, well, since the pandemic, I think we're going to move more towards virtual medicine, but I don't think that'll be entirely the type of medicine we do. I think holistic medicine. I know functional medicine is a huge growing field. And I think in PA schools, we'll start incorporating nutrition and kind of whole body wellness. So I hope it does move towards that.
I love that you said that. I have the chills. I would have never thought of that response. I never was really into holistic medicine until I had kids because I was like,
Yeah.
when you learn at PA school, it's all research-based medicine. And then
Uh-huh.
patients come in and you're like, well, I tried using this garlic oil in my ear. And I'm like, well, I guess garlic, has some sort of healing properties, but don't put it in your ear, okay?
Yeah,
But
when I see patients with terrible rashes, I tell them there's something going on with your body. Your body is trying to tell you something. And it's
mhm.
not just the skin, it may be the stress that they're under. It's maybe their diet. It could be so many things. And we're trained to just look at our little area of medicine.
That is so, I got the chills again. Oh my gosh. And then the other thing I wanted to mention about holistic medicine is I just recently started learning about like oils, essential oils.
Yeah.
Do you ever use essential oils at all?
Yeah. I have a diffuser in my house.
Oh,
So,
okay. I just got one from Michael's the other day, and one of my girlfriends from England started selling it. And I found out at Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego, the entire oncology floor a couple years ago started using the diffusers in the
nice.
whole suite. And I had no idea. I've been working there for 9 years, and I had no idea until I met one of the moms who's a nurse in the department. And
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I love like the citrus smells.
Yeah.
And even my daughters are like, oh, mommy, I love the smell of it. And
Hmm.
it just makes you feel so warm. I don't know exactly what citrus does for you. I need to research that, but it
Yeah.
makes me feel good.
Changes the ambiance of your house. Your
Yeah,
kids may
it
be calmer.
really
Who
does.
knows?
Yeah. And then the last question, what is one piece of advice you would give someone that's interested in our field?
Oh, let's see. Well, if you're interested in dermatology specifically, I would sign up for conferences. So if you have, don't pay too much money, but if you have a dermatology conference for PAs in your state, and most of them do, go and network. That's how a couple of my friends got jobs in dermatology.
Oh,
One of my coworkers actually shadowed me. She worked in primary care, but she wanted to be in dermatology. So she came in on every day off and worked with me. Sort of, we called it her externship, but that wasn't really a thing. And she
but
just
she was
learned
just
just
volunteering?
interested. Yeah. And
Wow.
then as soon as a job opened up in our town for dermatology, she already had some experience. She was already familiar with it. And she was able to get connected because she went with me to a pharmaceutical dinner for dermatology and met the other practice. So yeah, you
Wow.
gotta, reach out and make connections. Don't be afraid. It takes courage to put yourself out there. And the worst thing they can say is no. You can also join some of these Facebook groups. There's pre-PA Facebook groups at University of Georgia. There's a pre-PA club. So, and I get a
What?
lot of my babysitters through that. So
Oh,
you never
really?
know.
Do
That
you
may lead
really?
to shadowing experience. I'll barter
I love that.
babysitting for shadowing.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I'm always looking for other babysitters. Well,
Yeah.
Hope, thank you so much. It means so much that you spent so much time with me. I know that
Well, thank you.
you don't have the kids this week, but you have to pick them up soon. So I'm glad that I
Yeah.
caught you today, because if it was any other day, you probably wouldn't be able to do this. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You
So nice to meet you.
have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks. Take